Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn. April Fools. I'm Chris. And our sports sticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Nebraska women's gymnastics team defeated Air Force 195.6 to 194.4 in the first round of the NCAA championships at LSU on Wednesday. Nebraska improved to 8-11 overall, while the Falcons ended their season 15-11. Number 4 Nebraska is set to host the Big Ten championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena on April 3rd through 4th. Friday, April 3rd will be the team and all-around competition. And Nebraska senior Dylan Carey was honored Wednesday after he was chosen as a third-team midseason All-American by Perfect Game. Our sports sticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
From the 8-yard line, snap to Calandria, play fake. Lobs one, back shoulder left. Oh, is that caught? It was Quinn Clark. One-handed back shoulder catch for a touchdown. Highlight reel grab here in spring. Plus 32, second and 10. 13 seconds. Kalen takes the snap, hands it off to Booth, angles left. There he goes. Booth to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Connor Booth with a spring game dagger.
2-2 coming. This one is hit into left center field. Going back towards the wall, off the base of the wall. Dylan Carey will round in the second, and folks, there it is. The all-time doubles record. Number 57, Dylan Carey stands alone in the record books. Take a bow, number 15.
Runner at first, 2 outs, 1 and 2 to Alejandre from Deals. Alejandre swings and misses. She's got on strikes. And the 9th-ranked Cornhuskers down 7th-ranked UCLA, beating the Bruins 2-1 in the series.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome into Sports Nightly. Hope you are enjoying the much-needed rain. I know a lot of folks
It's raining
very
outside?
happy. Yes, it is.
I haven't been out in a while.
Much needed, very much needed. So hopefully that continues to come on down here today and tomorrow, I think. But I do think there's no rain in the forecast on Friday, right? So baseball, softball
It's
should
supposed to be cooler, though. A lot cooler than last weekend still. But no, the rain is much needed, especially in the western part of the state. We talked a lot about the wildfires and all the ticket proceeds of the spring game going to those that were dealing with that around the state. I remember driving home from Wichita, whenever that was, the week of the first NCAA tournament game. So it was last week, right? And seeing a lot of fires on my drive. I didn't know whether they were controlled burns or just part of the wildfires, because they're pretty big fires. So just driving through it, you see some areas in the state that are dealing with it. So the rain, it's plus we haven't had rain and it's super windy around here. So that's just the worst case scenario for a lot of these places.
Yeah, so again, hoping it just keeps on coming down here over the next couple of days, but also hoping that it clears up in time for Friday to get some baseball and softball games in. My parents are coming. They've been
Sonny's coming.
Sonny's finally returning home.
Park at the Park Sunday.
So they're
Saturday.
they've been wanting to find a day to come up and go to a softball game. So we're making it work this weekend. So had bought those tickets, so we're excited to go to that. But hey, I'm telling you, this April Fool's has been, I just basically need to stay off social media.
Yeah, just don't even touch it.
It's terrible.
I saw some guy was granted an 8th year of eligibility. It was a UCF social media account.
I saw that about Rank Mast.
Yeah. You just
Harper Murray's getting traded to Texas.
Traded?
Ben
like
McCollum's going to North Carolina.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are just like completely way too crazy to be true. But then there are a couple that could be true that I'm like, wait a second.
But that's normal rage baiting on Twitter nowadays. I feel like every day on Twitter
it's taken up a notch.
Am I not right,
April
guys?
Fools.
Like when you see guys that like these accounts that try to make names for themselves, so they create graphics and things like the NCAA tournament tip times. We all got fooled on that because somebody took the time to just screw with us. So April Fool's feels like it's just any day on Twitter now.
I feel like it's up a notch today, and especially during a time where there's kind of lots of news happening. It's kind of a busy news time. I'm not loving it. So, but
just
either way,
steer clear.
Either way, yeah. Just staying off social media today. But hey, big day, big night last night for the Huskers in Omaha, both softball and baseball, getting a sweep over Creighton. We were talking, I don't think Nebraska's lost to Creighton this year in any sport.
No, I've seen the tweets on that, and that's not April Fool's.
Yeah,
I've seen all the green check marks
confirm.
next to all the events. We were at the basketball game, the men's basketball game. The women beat them as well. I know that for certain.
Volleyball.
And then, volleyball. That was a 5-setter, was it not, earlier in the season? So that was one of the harder regular season games.
That was
for
their
Nebraska
last win. That wasn't a sweep. Remember? And then they went on the
and they went on that stretch
of the streak of
they'll play in
sweeps.
spring too.
Yeah.
So I guess you can add that to the tally. I can tell you both teams will, even if it's a spring match, both teams are going to take that ultra seriously, and that we know the crowds do with the amount of tickets that have been sold. So, and then yesterday was awesome. I mean, I was watching both. I had softball on my laptop. I had baseball on the TV, and softball just continues to do what they do. It was good to see Kylie McGee got the start yesterday. That's what midweeks are for. Now, you can't lose them, right?
Yeah.
You can't lose that game yesterday, but you want to make sure you get other arms in there, and then Alexis Jensen comes in and closes the door, really doesn't give them a whole lot of life. And then yesterday, you wanted to get a decent start out of Gavin Blachowicz. You got four innings out of him, and I think what's good with Nebraska, I mean, you give up a 5 spot in the 6th inning. You don't win many of those games on the road when you give up an inning that you allow 5 runs. Another game with 10 hits and a lot of the usual suspects that have come out to play. And some of the role players like Drew Grigo that has just had an incredible stretch for him, who's really taken command of that starting right field spot. Mac Moyer had 3 RBI yesterday. When you look at Dylan Carey and what he's done this season, it's going to be the best season of his career when he thought he should have been drafted, and he's playing with a little bit of anger to him. And then guys that came in late, I mean, Jay-Sean Unger, it's, as Ben and Nick like to say, it was kind of like white knuckle time. The way that you had to close that thing out, tying run in scoring position on a windy night, a fly ball that looked like it was in straightaway left to end the game. It swerves all the way to Mac Moyer in center, and he's backpedaling and almost got crossed up on the fly ball and was able to catch it. And I said, what a perfect way to end a game like this where nothing's normal, right? You had a 6-0 commanding lead that became a 6-5 game with the tying run and scoring position in the ninth.
That's kind of what this series has been, though, since I've been here. And with Omaha, too. It's just been crazy when Nebraska matches up with those two teams.
Well, you think of it from their perspective, right? At least from Omaha's perspective, they feel like they should be playing at Nebraska. There's sort of a slight when you play, and then Creighton, from a baseball perspective, is not what Nebraska is in baseball sense. You look at men's basketball, obviously Creighton has a reputation, but a lot of these guys want to be recruited and want to play at Nebraska, so there's that little chip on their shoulder when they play. And well, that was a game that it took everything, and that was the first of 3 meetings this year, so they're going to play twice again. You can expect that it's probably going to come down to the wire in the next 2.
I brought this up, and I've told you about this, but the midweek games have been a bugaboo for this baseball team really the last couple of years, but 7-0 in the midweek. I mean, they're taking care of business in the midweek, and while, it's not always maybe make or break, but it is, I think, absolutely playing into this team getting the respect, in the top 25 rankings. They're taking care of business on the weekends, but then you're also, getting some big wins in the midweeks too.
No, it's funny. Everywhere you look, everyone's losing midweek games. Mm-hmm. A lot of the SEC teams, Arkansas lost to, I think, Missouri State yesterday. Florida lost to Jacksonville yesterday. Alabama was on the ropes yesterday against Jacksonville State, I think it was. A lot of these top 25 teams, especially in the league of notice, which is the SEC in college baseball, a lot of those teams lose these midweek games. And for Nebraska, you can't take anything for granted. And a team that knows over the last couple of years how much of a struggle it has been to beat the Omahas, to beat the, Creighton's had a really good handle of the series of late. Now you beat Kansas State last week. That was a big midweek win after losing to them early in the year. Can you go to Lawrence, Kansas? Can you win that game? You'll have Kansas a couple of times in the midweek. Those are a couple of big games. Again, you're going to have Creighton 2 more times. So a lot of these personnel know each other in these midweek games. So it's important to close these things out. And then things are getting a lot harder now, Jess, for baseball, specifically in the month of April. You had a tremendous March. But now you're going to go on the road. Oregon, that's a top 25 team. You have USC at home, which will bring massive crowds here. Those 2 series are part of a turning point in this season. If this team's going to host, you got to find a way to win those series, or maybe get 1 on the road at Oregon and maybe win 2 out of 3 at home against USC.
We were joking a couple weeks ago how Ben was letting some folks know that they need to pay more attention to the Big Ten. And I texted him. I said, I think they're starting to listen to you a little bit. But, I mean, I think he posted that right now the early kind of matchups still – do not have Nebraska hosting, right?
I saw them in a Tuscaloosa regional, who would be like a 14. They'd be a 2 seed.
Yeah, so they'd, at least be towards the lower half of what the, the host teams would be, and Nebraska would be more of the higher seed, higher 2 seeds.
Yeah.
But I think, again, if you could find a way to, like, make some noise in a couple of these series coming up, I think it probably helps your case in maybe being able to host a regional.
Yeah, I think if it ended today, Nebraska would not get the benefit of the doubt. It's part of a lot of things we've already talked about at nauseum, and we don't need to bring that up. And a lot of the things that frustrates Ben about the narrative around Big Ten baseball. But you look at it, they have, 4 teams in the top 25? It's a representative league this year. USC's done some things they have not done in a while. UCLA's the number 1 team in the country. Oregon's darn good. Like we said, there's a lot that is out in front of Nebraska baseball. You've done a great job to this point. You've positioned yourself in a really good spot. You're a top 20 team. You've done well in the RPI. You've not let the midweeks hurt you. But now, with the way this team is clicking, with their weekend rotation, you have Katsky now pitching on Sundays. You've defined who your closer is going to be. Jay-Sean Unger is that guy. You have more of roles in the bullpen. It's college baseball. There's going to be nights where your bullpen or one or 2 guys in the bullpen just does not have it, and that might happen here down the stretch. But with what's out in front of you here in the month of April, with the Oregons, with the USCs, you got to find a way to beat Iowa, right? You got to beat Minnesota. You got to beat Illinois on the road. There's still so much out in front of this team that needs to be decided, that we're just still so far away from any talk about whether you could host or do this or do that.
A lot that they can prove, right? And maybe move up, or, so there's a lot of opportunity left, and a lot of baseball left to be played. All right, coming up this weekend, so both teams are at home once again, and there's a lot of fun things surrounding the series. So the Ballpark Bash that was announced today is coming back on Saturday, so between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. between Haymarket Park and Bowlin Stadium. They're going to have lots of fun things happening, face painting, prizes, all kinds of cool stuff. But you do not need a ticket to either game. You can just come on out, bring the family, and just hang out. It should be a fun time. Also, it's Bark at the Park. I've already mentioned, and I'm sure you have not missed it because I've talked about it a lot. I'm going to be taking Sunny out there on Saturday. So a lot of fun things happening out there on Saturday. I did want to also bring up, because this was announced, yesterday, that Softball America on the April position power rankings has Jordy Ball as the number 1 2-way player and Alexis Jensen as the number 3 2-way player. How about that? And I loved what was said about just, who was it on social media? I need to pull it up here. That this program, I think that's one thing that we've talked a lot to Rhonda Revelle about, that there's a lot of times there's kind of this hesitancy to pitch or to let pitchers hit, right? And Rhonda's never been scared of that. And this has been every year since I've been here, they've had pitchers that hit. And so I think that's got to be a selling point when you talk about recruiting, and you've got these competitors that want to be able to do both. They're allowing them to do that, and they're not only doing it, they're excelling at it.
Yeah, and it's a big reason. There's a lot of reasons why Jordy came here, but she didn't have that opportunity at Oklahoma to be a 2-way player. And I would say when you refer to that list for Softball America, it's Jordy 1 and then everybody else. But how cool is that to have 2 Huskers in the top 3 of that of 2-way players? And we had talked a little bit about in the preseason Alexis Jensen and her ability to be a 2-way player, but I didn't necessarily know, right? She's a true freshman. you know the prowess as a pitcher, and you can see the confidence that she has, and that transfers to the plate. Thinking of that home run she hit over the weekend against UCLA, I was saying, man, that swing's nice. That just the kind of the fluid nature of her swing, the ease off the barrel, hit it 273 feet, hit one of the longer home runs in recent memory. And Jordy Ball, and you'll see this a lot, and knock on wood, super regionals and top ESPN crews and World Series, the amount of Jordy Fromm, I might have said Jordy Ball, Jordy Fromm and Shohei Ohtani graphics that we'll see late in the year, because, you know, they like to compare the two sports a lot of the time, and that is what it is. Sometimes softball players prefer to just let's compare softball and softball. But I think you'll see a lot of Jordy Shohei talk, the two-way star. She is the closest to Shohei Ohtani in the sport of softball, and it's not close. She's just simply remarkable.
And I think it's really cool too that I think she loves the role that she's in this year, and that they kind of can. And we heard Coach Revelle talk about this at the beginning of the season, that they're going to be able to tweak the lineups a little bit with matchups because they are so deep. And so you have a series where you like Alexis against maybe a lineup against UCLA, so you let her start Friday and then Jordy starts Saturday. I don't know. We'll see moving forward if that flips, if there are some series where maybe Jordy starts Friday, Sunday. But, the luxury of that, and I think Jordy, there's probably nobody more happy about it than Jordy. I think she loves that role, and she is so happy for Alexis and that she's thriving in that role. And I think it's awesome to see how well Alexis is received in that dugout. She is so well recepted and is loved, and they want to compete behind her too.
I think Jordy likes playing first base too.
Yeah,
I haven't talked to her about it, but I would assume that she's a competitor. She likes playing some first base too, doing some things a little bit differently than she had the opportunity to do at Oklahoma and even last year. And she's a star, so stars love pressure. And for her to come in the 5th, 6th, 7th innings when the pressure is at its absolute peak and height, and she can live in that pressure. The luxury for Rhonda to be able to go to the bullpen to somebody who has played in World Series, who has won national championships, who has had the pressure on their shoulders of an entire state of Oklahoma when she was pitching with the Sooners, to know that the 5th, 6th, and 7th of a game in the World Series is not going to bother her. What an incredible luxury that is to have that player closing out games.
I think Jordy and Hannah Core, they both been on that stage. That you just cannot. You were around Florida. You cannot.
She killed Florida.
But you cannot
Core.
take for granted having players that have been on that stage, that know what it takes to win on that stage.
Yeah. That just know the confines of it. Core's played the outfield at that stadium in Oklahoma City, and it's different when you play at a normal home venue as opposed to having 13,000 fans and you have 5,000 of them behind you, and the fans are wrapping around you, and there's 3 tiers of a stadium and the sight lines are different. All that stuff matters, and there's sky cams flying over your head. That's an adjustment. That truly is an adjustment. And to have the leaders of your team that have played at the ultimate heights of this sport, it's only going to help. And I'll tell you, Alexis Jensen also ain't going to shy away from that stage either.
No, she is not. No, she is not. Shout out John Squire. I couldn't remember who posted this tweet or post on X, but it was John Squire, dad of Abby Squire, who played on the team the last 4 seasons. But he said, if you're an elite two-way player, there is no other place that has figured out the secret sauce to train all the skills necessary. Slam dunk for top recruits. And he was quote tweeting the position rankings for Jordy and Alexis. And, I think they haven't been scared to do that, where there have been maybe some programs that don't want to allow their pitchers to do both, or don't believe the pitchers can handle it. That's never been the case here. We've seen it every single year that they've had a pitcher do both.
Yeah, and like you said, that's going to help you in recruiting. Mm-hmm. When you're trying to get that top recruit that maybe is indecisive between going to a place that has a stacked lineup and you're not going to be able to put the bat in your hands, or on an off day maybe be the designated player on a day that you're not pitching. Rhonda's willing to do that. Put the best 9 bats in your lineup, and if you so happen to be a pitcher, then that's even better.
Yeah. All right, 402-413-2400 is that number if you want to be a part of the show tonight. We're just getting started. Lots to get to here tonight. So coming up next, talk a little bit more football, spring football. Had a chance to catch up with Riley Van Poppel on the sidelines. We're going to play you that conversation here coming up next on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with zero down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
So I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with zero down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. We didn't have very much time on Monday. We just had the hour and then no show last night, so didn't really dive a whole lot into the spring game. But I feel like since Saturday and just looking on social media, it seems like a lot of the opinions have been that they didn't see enough out of the defensive line because that was a big, I guess, talked about point going from last season into this season, that was an area that had to be improved. Do you feel like it's a little bit of an overreaction for just what you see in a spring game?
Well, you think of the nature of the spring game. The ones aren't out there every series, right? So you're not getting a rhythm, sort of a feel of the game. So you're yanking your starters after one series. You're putting the twos in there. You can't make sweeping proclamations about a position group after a spring game. We've watched them in the weeks leading up into the spring game where there's moments where the defensive line played well. I just think for fans, and which rightfully so, you got to prove it as a defensive line, considering how the season ended last year, and those final 3 games did not go well, Penn State, Iowa, and Utah. So you got to prove that what last year wasn't the reality of this team, which it's not. Personnel's different. Coaching's different. New defensive line coach, new edge coach. I just don't think when you look at a spring game that you could, because there's a lot of vanilla looks, just a lot of base looks, that you can make a whole lot out of it.
I'll say this, it will have to, again, I don't want to make too harsh of opinions one way or the other at this point in spring football. But towards the end of the season and just kind of observing on the sideline and then having conversations with him postgame, Riley Van Poppel, I think, had lost some confidence, right? And I think a lot of those guys up front had. But I think throughout this spring, you've seen him find some newfound confidence and working in this defense, working with Corey Brown. So I think you just see the way that he's talking, the way he's moving and carrying himself. I think he's gained a little bit more confidence. So I had a chance to chat with him on the sideline during the spring game. And one of our favorite interviews ever, Riley Van Poppel. Well, can you believe that spring football is pretty much done now?
It's wild, you know. It feels like we just started yesterday, and then you look around the country and you got like people I know, my buddies from high school, they're starting last week, this week, and just to be done, it's kind of sad because, you know, we're here to play football. We love the winter workouts, but this is what we love to do is get on the field and compete with each other. So, you know, it's sad to say we won't be doing this till August.
How much have you grown throughout this spring?
I think I've grown a lot. Just looking back last year, I wasn't, you know, I've been open. I wasn't happy with how I played, with where I executed and where my game was. So I think coming into this year, I had an open mindset. I knew I needed to work on a lot. I think with Coach Dave and Coach Corey, and then obviously Coach Orich as the DC, they've helped me a ton. They've put fun back in football for me, and I think when I step on the field with fun and confidence, it allows me to just work on things day to day. I've seen myself get better with my hands, my feet, my pad level, and those are, I think, 3 of the biggest things I said at the beginning of spring I wanted to work on.
Oh, that's awesome. Great to hear. Tell us about Corey Brown. What has he brought to the defensive line? What are you learning from him, and how much confidence is he instilling in you?
Yeah, I love the intensity he brings. You know, like, we'll have fun in the meeting rooms and we'll have fun on the field, but he truly knows how to flip that switch of when it's time to go and when it's time to, like, have fun. And he's been in the exact seats we've been in. Like I said, played in the Big Ten, obviously at Iowa, and he knows what we're feeling on a day-to-day basis, and he knows how to apply what we're learning in the meeting rooms to on the field. He knows what we're going through. And so it's like a deeper connection whenever you have someone like that who truly has gone through it all. He's right there with you. Like I said, he makes it fun. He knows, like I said, my favorite thing is he knows when it's time to work, and he's intense, but then he's also there for you. He's going to love you, and he's going to take care of you.
What excites you about this defense and what Rob Orich has instilled here in Lincoln?
Yeah, I was just talking to Owen Chambliss about it. Obviously, you know, he's been with Coach Orich. I think the best part about this defense is just how well we can play together as a unit. You know, it doesn't matter who's out on the field. If we're just playing technically sound, whatever 11 guys are out there are going to play together well. It doesn't matter if you're a starter, you're a third string, you're a big name, like whoever you are, you're out there, and we can just play together as a defense, relying on each other, technical sound, and we all have the ability to make plays.
One of the big storylines that people are talking about, how big this offensive line is. What's it like matching up with those guys in practice?
Oh, I love it. I think the relationship with some of those guys on the offensive line, like for me, it's Justin and Brendan and Tree, all of them across the board, at all depth levels. They're amazing people, so we're really close off the field in the locker room. And then it just makes it better when you're out on the field because you're battling, you're giving each other your best, and then, like, we can look at each other in between plays and crack a joke and laugh and smile and, you know, ask each other what we need to work on. What are they seeing out of me? What am I seeing out of them? And watching how they've played this spring has been amazing. I think they're light years ahead of where they were, and so it's also fun because when you're going against someone really good, it makes you really good. So.
And you're working on a new hairdo, or you're bringing back a hairdo.
I am, yeah. You know, my dad made a comment to me about it the other day. My old profile photo on the Husker football website's my mullet from my sophomore year, and he was like, "You need to change that." And I was like, "Well, I think I'm going to grow it back," and so I just got this cut, and I'm trying to let it grow out a little bit for the summer.
Nice. Appreciate your time. As always, great chatting with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Oh, I mean, you can hear it. He's always great to talk to. And he's been like that since the first, I think, the signing day interview when I talked to him. He's so cerebral and so smart and insightful. And Damon actually requested him. And then what's funny is if you were watching on our YouTube stream, at one point we both started laughing. And the guy that was cutting up in the background of the interview was Caleb Benning.
Yeah, you got to text Papa Benning to get to stop that. But I'm thinking about growing out a mullet too.
You should.
I think it would
be great.
When I become a defensive lineman, when I grow up, I'm gonna have a mullet and be ready to go. Coach Rule, you need somebody in the trenches like me. I can get it done.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. By the way, Kyle didn't hear a single part of that interview because all he could think about, he's such an audio nerd, was the pads popping in the background.
If Josh Hilkeman hears me one more time in his ears, like during games, I always say, "Hey, Josh, can you turn up the natural sound on the field?" And Josh will go, first of all, I'm deaf because I always put my earphones at a high level. So he'll go, "It's as high as it could go, Kyle." The fader is all the way up. So Josh tears his hair out every season or at least last season, because I just scream about more natural sound.
He's like, listen to those pads. Oh, those whistles. Listen to it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I'm fascinated with it, but I am. I guess that's why I got into radio.
But you heard it though. I mean, the confidence is different.
Yeah.
From where it was last year to this year.
You think of the pressure he was under last year. He had that
it was like
luxury redshirt year.
Ty Robinson.
Everyone wanted to make those comparisons. Fair or not, Riley has confidence in himself that he could eventually be that. But was it fair at that point in time, after sitting out a whole season, for Riley Van Poppel to be Ty or Nash? It's probably not fair. Now, this year, maybe you're a year removed from what those expectations are, and now people are talking down about that group, so you can have a chip on your shoulder a little bit as a defensive lineman. And I think Riley's he had a pretty solid bowl game. I think he'll be set to have a big year, hopefully.
Kobe in the chat said the mullet would be elite, Kyle. I think we should do that.
I think I could do it.
Maybe a summer and see how it looks.
What do you think, just like a mustache? What if I did a mustache?
I mean, the good thing about, your facial hair grows pretty fast, so I feel like you could do it pretty quickly, and then if it was awful, it just
I think
move on from it pretty quickly.
I know Nick Hanley had a mustache for a little bit. It's a huge baseball thing, so I don't know if Ben would ever do a mustache.
Speaking of Nick and Ben, Shane on the chat said, shout out for Nick and Ben for reading the new lottery copy, yelling 4. It's perfect for them, if you know what I mean. Apparently it's good for Nick, but Ben's pretty solid. I don't think he has to say 4 very much, but Nick definitely does. Nick probably knows how to say 4.
That's right. You get on him about his handicap, right?
Oh yeah, it's bad. He didn't improve much last summer, and he played a lot. We gave him heck about it all last summer.
Nick's probably listening. He works at the Omaha.
I know, and he knows. He embraces this, because we went into the beginning of last summer with a goal of him to go from maybe get closer to single digits with his handicap, and he's like, no shot. I think he even went up a point.
I don't think any of us even have time to golf anyway, so I don't know when Ben definitely doesn't have time to golf. I don't know when Ben has time to golf.
Ben's good.
Was Sharpie good at golf? Did Greg golf a lot?
He golfed, yeah. He golfed. Not as much, I don't think, as those guys. Ben and Nick golf quite a bit.
They golf on the road a lot, Ben and Nick, for baseball trips, so they brought their clubs to Arizona. I know that. I didn't know Ben was that good at golf. I would be terrible. I haven't played this has been well noted. I haven't played in a decade.
If the 4 of us played like a competition on the football broadcast, it would need to be 3-on-1, which I know you probably wouldn't contribute much. So it'd probably be like Damon and me versus Ben.
Damon golfs, right? Because Damon always tells me to dust off the clubs, all that, and maybe sometime in July or August before the season starts, we can have some sort of HRN golf outing. Maybe we can get it sponsored. I don't know. I'll talk to Jason. Just to get a free 18.
Shane said Nick improved to 14.2. Searles needs a lot of work. He's at 16.8.
Yeah, we got to get Searles in on it too.
All right, we got to get to a break. Coming up next, it's time for our monthly check-in, our bi-monthly check-in with the president, Dr. Jeff Gold. Kyle had a chance to catch up with him and all the things happening across the University of Nebraska system. So that's coming up next here on Sports Nightly. Husker fans, make your plans now to attend one of the most exciting events in Nebraska sports this year when the Big Red play host to the Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena this weekend, April 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. Get your all-session tickets now through Ticketmaster for just $15.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
So I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Kyle Crooks back with you on Sports Nightly, and of course joined by a very special guest, University of Nebraska System President, Dr. Jeffrey Gold. Dr. Gold, it's always good to see you. How are you? Welcome in studio.
Oh, great to be with you today. Great to be with our audience as well.
And, of course, it's now the spring has sprung. It's getting a little warmer out there. And with that, Husker baseball and softball now into their regular seasons. You have a lot of the preseason invitational play. What are you looking forward to in the spring with a couple of really good teams?
Well, I think you said it, really, really good teams. And what I look forward to, of course, is building on the success of last year. You know, I was so confident that Coach Bolt and our Husker baseball team are looking forward to building on that continued success. And Coach Ravel has, of course, done a phenomenal job as well. I look forward to seeing what Jordy does this year, and hopefully she stays healthy and can have just another spectacular year moving forward. As we've talked about previously, I'm a really big baseball fan, and so I watch this really, really carefully. And, of course, the Lady Huskers are awesome.
Yeah, off to a tremendous start. And on today's segment, we're going to focus on impact. There are many conversations happening nationally about the value and impact of higher education and whether higher education is a good investment. We know that the University of Nebraska has a three-part mission: education, research, and engagement, all of which make an enormous impact on Nebraskans around the state. Let's start with education and its impact, Dr. Gold.
Sure. Well, that's an easy thing to talk about. It's very straightforward to say that we have about 50,000 students, undergraduates and graduates, that we award about 11,000 degrees a year. I mean, think about that. That's 11,000 mostly Nebraskans who complete a degree program with us that go on almost all into the workforce here, into the state. But, you think about it there. If you go down to some of the smaller areas, whether it's in unique business applications, teachers, medical professionals, for instance, the state has tremendous shortage areas in healthcare. There are 14 counties in the state that don't have a single primary care doctor. There are about half the counties that don't have a single board-certified OB-GYN. And that has real consequences and real need for workforce development. And that's very focused area for us, because we build new programs and we expand existing programs to meet unique workforce needs. So just give you an example, staying in the medical professions for a minute, Dean Sharp McHenry went to twice-a-year admissions for the nursing programs on our campuses in order to meet what is projected to be a 5,000 nurse shortage in rural and urban Nebraska in the upcoming years. So that has literally doubled the production of nursing workforce. So we need to have the right programs at the right time.
And the University of Nebraska research is also improving lives and adding value for our state. What should our listeners know in that regard?
Yeah, so, today's students, they don't want to just be surrounded by faculty who read textbooks and journal articles and present them to them in a way that's important. They want to be surrounded by faculty and by graduate students frequently who are writing the textbooks, writing the research papers, and doing the research that is really changing the world. And whether it's in the agricultural sector with precision ag and all the digital work that's going on with satellite imaging and robotics and drones and center pivot irrigation and things of that nature, or whether it's in healthcare or whether it's in engineering, I'm really excited about the work that we're doing here at UNL on the microbiome. I think that work will not only enhance crop production, but will actually be able to manage disease states such as inflammatory bowel disease and others. And that work that Professor Benson is doing is being tested right now in a clinical trial up at the Med Center. And so these are, these are research programs that improve lives and save lives, literally on a daily basis. And by the way, when we spin off a company or we license technology, that produces revenue for the university. And so it adds to the workforce and it adds to the economy of the state.
And we've talked about the educational and research missions of University of Nebraska's tri-part mission. Before we wrap up tonight here, what can you tell us about the impact of the university's engagement efforts?
Yeah, that's very easy to talk about because as a land-grant university, we have a responsibility to stretch across the entire state. And, for instance, we could talk about the extension centers. We have 83 extension centers that cover all 93 counties of the state. And these are areas that have everything to do with, workforce development through the 4-H programs, up through the most sophisticated type of crop and cattle production research. You could look at the healthcare programs that we have that engage and provide care through telehealth or through boots on the ground locations where, we're trying very hard, for instance, to make Nebraska the healthiest state in the country. And one of the ways we have to do that is we have to reduce risk, for instance, tobacco, obesity, diabetes, etc. We're doing that. And recently, the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center has partnered with our extension programs to reach out through all 83 extension centers to do cancer screening and create awareness, because, we've got a lot of cancer here in the state of Nebraska. Recently, back in February, February is Heart Disease Awareness Month. I had the pleasure of participating in several, American Heart Association fundraisers. But one of the most important things that the AHA does and that we do in partnership with them is create awareness about heart disease and risk factors. So these are all types of engagement. We have a saying that every Nebraskan has their life touched at least once every day by something the university is doing, whether they know it or not.
And I know our listeners love hearing from you. Any final thoughts as we wrap up our conversation?
Well, just to say, I'm a little over a year and a half into this role of serving as your president, and I've never been more excited and more optimistic about the future. I think from the athletic perspective, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm really looking forward to the spring game and some of the other events. I know my wife and family will be out here for all of those. What really puts the air under my wings is interacting with our students. Just a couple days ago, I had an opportunity to interact with several of the perfect ACT students. These are young women and young men who achieved a perfect 36 score on their ACT, and they're all applying here to become part of the student body next year. I mean, these are incredibly talented young men and young women who are all going to receive presidential scholarships, but they're choosing to come here, and they could go anywhere in the country. And that is just so exciting to see this program really develop into a world-class attraction for these very, very talented young ladies and young men.
Yeah, tremendous to see all the work that the university is doing on a lot of different fronts. So, Dr. Gold, thank you so much for joining us in studio.
Always a pleasure. Look forward to next time. Go Big Red.
University of Nebraska System President Dr. Jeffrey Gold. We continue with Sports Nightly right after this.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with zero down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
Welcome back. Final segment here of our Hour 1 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Always great stuff with Dr. Gold. You stepped in for me. I don't know where I was, but you helped me out because normally I do those segments.
Yeah,
so
he's a big Yankee fan, so we bond
y'all bond over that.
We bond over Yankees baseball, which is, if you're following along right now, we got the Royals and the Twins on the TV currently. Off to a 5-1 start.
But you guys team up against John Baylor. It's 2-1.
That's right. Camden, you're a Cardinals fan. Camden's so
is Matt Coatney.
I think I knew that. DB's a huge Dodgers fan.
What is Josh?
Twins fan. So he's probably watching this right now. I'm surprised he maybe make a ride down there to Kansas City and watch these games. Twins are in town, and then so
Ben's
DB's a big
Kansas
Dodgers
City.
fan, and then B-Mac's a big Royals fan.
Yeah.
So you're not a huge baseball person.
No, I'm
You're
not.
more of a softball person.
Yes. If I had to pick a Major League Baseball team, it'd probably be the Dodgers, though. And so I'd probably be.
Why? You're from born and raised
My
in
dad's
Oklahoma?
a big Dodgers guy.
Okay, then that makes sense. Does
So-
your dad have California ties?
Yes. Well, his family's from there, and every time that he would go out, he'd spend a lot of time in the summer, and his uncle would take him to Dodgers games, and then he would listen to like on the radio and all that. So he was
Well, you're big OKC person. They're AAA. I assume it still is OKC
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
They're still there.
But they've
Bricktown
changed
area.
a lot. They've been in a bunch of different affiliates.
So I know a lot of the rehab assignments went through there. You
Yeah,
have
Clayton Kershaw
there.
made a rehab start there a couple times. So, but yeah, if I had to choose, it'd be the Dodgers. So, okay, so we had this in the ticker, but shout out to Nebraska Women's Gymnastics. They won today in the first round of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships, and kind of like the play-in game, the first four, if you will, for the basketball tournaments. But hey, this is a team that's going to contribute to the overall points of the Learfield Directors Cup standings, which last year, right when you got here, we were coming off the highest finish since 2010 in the standings. And so Nebraska Women's Gymnastics a chance to continue to move on in the postseason, but a big win today, and should hopefully add to the confidence as they move on to the, I guess, first round or second round now of the regional.
So they have LSU, Clemson, and Auburn in the regional tomorrow.
LSU's tough. LSU's
They're
tough.
a top team.
But I mean, you have a chance. They've been in the top 25 throughout at couple points this season, so you could maybe beat Clemson if you have a good night.
Yeah, and I know.
And so the top two advance
top two advance, and then you have the finals
on Saturday. So.
And those are all taking place at LSU, I would assume?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Sometimes they're predetermined stops for regional, so it's not like you kind of know where you're going before the season ends. So that's good to know. And then you did the read on men's gymnastics at PBA, which is a huge deal to Coach Chmelka and everybody.
Which we're going to hear from next hour.
Yeah, he was in studio, and we had a really good conversation. He's super excited. They're bringing in the equipment to PBA for the first time, and they're hoping maybe to host an NCAA regional in the years to come and to have a trial run of what it would look like at PBA with all the apparatuses there and the ribbon boards. It's a much bigger arena. The lighting's a little bit different. So they'll practice. They'll do their warm-ups there tomorrow to just kind of get a nice run through at PBA to get the look and feel of the place because, of course, they perform at Devaney. So they're excited, and hopefully a really good crowd gets out there for them.
Did you see the social media video of the
I saw some of it, yeah.
volleyball
Very cool.
team doing men's gymnastics?
It is the most athletic thing in any sport.
It's unbelievable what they can do.
And some of the stories of injuries and horrific injuries and coming back, and what is it called when you get kind of spun around? You almost get like gymnastics version of vertigo, and you have to, like, Simone Biles had it a while ago.
Yips.
It's like the gymnastics version of the yips.
Yeah.
I'll come up with it on the other side, but like there's so many things that you can get when you do gymnastics, and the mental fortitude it takes along with getting through injuries it's tough.
Art in Los Angeles, by the way, likes the Dodgers, loves the Dodgers.
Well, he has a good reason why. He's right in the heart of it.
Yeah.
In LA.
Well, there you go. All right, another hour of Sports Nightly coming up next. Going to talk some men's gymnastics, also some basketball news, both men's and women's basketball to talk about. Yeah, twisties. There you go. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The work is dirty. and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with zero down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
Good evening, I'm Crypto King. April Fools, I'm Kyle Crooks. And our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. What are you looking at me for? The Nebraska
It's going to be the best update ever. Continue.
The Nebraska women's gymnastics team defeated Air Force 195.6 to 194.4 in the first round of the NCAA championships at LSU on Wednesday. Nebraska improved to 8-11 overall, while the Falcons ended their season 15-11. Number 4 Nebraska is set to host the Big Ten Championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena on April 3rd through 4th. Friday, April 3rd will be the team in all-around competition. And Nebraska senior Dylan Carey was honored Wednesday after he was chosen as a third-team midseason All-American by Perfect Game. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, discipline process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next right here in the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
From the 8-yard line, snap to Calandria, play fake, lobs one back shoulder left. Oh, was that caught? It was Quinn Clark, one-handed back shoulder catch for a touchdown. Highlight reel grab here in spring. Plus 32, second and 10. 13 seconds. Kalen takes the snap, hands it off to Booth. Angles left. There he goes. Move to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Connor Booth with a spring game dagger.
2-2 coming. This one is hit into left center field. Going back towards the wall, off the base of the wall. Dylan Carey will round in the second. And folks, there it is. The all-time doubles record. Number 57, Dylan Carey stands alone in the record books. Take a bow, number 15.
Runner at first, 2 outs, 1 and 2 to Alejandre. From deals. Alejandre swings and misses. She's got on strikes. And the 9th-ranked Cornhuskers down 7th-ranked UCLA, beating the Bruins 2-1 in the series.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back, hour number 2, Sports Nightly. We got some shenanigans going on in here.
Too many shenanigans, and you know what? I want them to end now.
Yeah, because you only laugh at your own jokes.
That's right. Because
only your April Fool's jokes are funny.
So during the break, Christopher said something pretty funny. I said the only reason I laugh at my own jokes because I said I'm the only one who's funny around here. And then there was a pause, and he said, "Funny looking." That was pretty good.
It's like the first time you've ever laughed at anybody's joke.
It was good. It was great timing. It was well done. He was taught by me though, so I take credit.
We were trying to figure out a way to April Fool's you and try to make you do play-by-play of the rocket launch, and we're just gonna run it back and act like it was live. But you were already ahead of us. You knew it had already launched.
I stay up with current events.
Yeah, you do.
I'm chronically online.
Yeah, you are.
So I know.
If you see Kyle walking to the training table, he is he's just looking down at his phone. He might run into people.
I will.
Because he's looking down at his phone.
I'm no good than that 18-year-old kid that's just stuck in his phone.
He also is wearing headphones, so he probably doesn't hear if you talk to him.
One-ear headphones. I usually keep one ear open.
So it's he is chronically. He's not
chronically online.
Not exaggerating. Could you call play-by-play of the rocket launch?
I could do play-by-play of anything, really. I don't know how interesting it would be, but I could give it some energy.
Oh, I wish we would have done that. Okay, well, I said we wanted to talk about some basketball news. So announced today, which we kind of had a feeling this is going to happen, but officially on the Instagram today, Natalie Potts this morning saying she is coming back. In fact, her direct quote was, "Next game day outfit is a Husker uniform." So, of course, she missed all last season because of her injury and just had a tough time getting back, struggled to get strong enough and to be able to go through the full practices. And they got to the point where it was just, hey, let's redshirt this year. And so, again, was on the bench. It was a big part of it. We heard Amy Williams talking about her and Allison Widener and how big they were on the bench and just their leadership. And so, but yeah, she says next game day outfit is a Husker uniform. Also, Maya Hargrove also posting on her Instagram yesterday 2 down, 2 to go, GBR always. So those are 2 big pieces, and that's where we are. Again, in this day and age in college athletics, it's you want to hear those announcements. And so 2 big pieces for Nebraska women's gymnastics. My thoughts there. Nebraska women's basketball announcing that they're coming back.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, Hargrove was massive this year. Was one of the best players on the team. You're going to need her. She is a foundational piece, along with Britt Prince. You think of the top 2 pieces that are
both sophomores.
Yeah, that are young. They're going to be here hopefully past not just this year, but years to come. Hargrove's huge, and then Potts. I mean, we talked about ad nauseum throughout the year about what if. It's almost like Oogie with men's basketball. What if? Natalie Potts was a all Big Ten freshman type of player, right? Averaged double figures, was a part of a team that made a run in a Big Ten tournament. And to not have her on the floor, that was really tough. And there was always a question mark. Are you going to get her back? Because the injury had happened a while ago, and just the healing process, the rehab process, maybe didn't go the way they wanted. So now you're going to have a full off season of her getting healthy, getting back in this rotation. And then Ashton Copel, too, who played in the McDonald's All-American game last night. I was trying to look up the numbers as you were talking. I haven't found them yet. But that is one of the best players in the country.
Yes.
In terms of a freshman that you're going to get to come in and play out of South Dakota.
She's been up for several awards, not just the best player in South Dakota, but nationally. I mean, it seemed like every week we were getting announcements that she won this, she won that, and we're talking about the best of the best in the country. And so she is coming here, will be here in June. Also a track star, by the way, is going to go for her 6th state title in the high jump. So she's just an athlete, can obviously jump out of the gym, but she's not the only really highlight freshman coming in that I think will make an immediate impact. Maddie Stewart and Ava Miles, all 3 of those freshmen coming in are top 100 recruits. Maddie Stewart is more of the combo type guard that Amy Williams loves to have in the system, can run the point, can also play off the ball. So I think will pair really well with Britt Prince. And then Ava Miles is kind of a lengthy, maybe stretch 3-4 type of player, and so and can shoot it as well. And so I think those 3 freshmen are going to make immediate impacts. And again, that portal opens up on Monday, and they've got some pieces. They've got some room to work with, both I think with the roster spots, with losing some of those seniors, and probably with some revenue as well. So we'll see what pieces they get, but they definitely will probably want to supplement with the portal as well. Amy Williams has always said that they want to build through their high school recruiting, and really that's what they're going to rely on. That's going to be their bread and butter, and then every year supplement with a piece or 2 from the portal. So they will definitely target the portal. We'll see what they go after, but the future is very, very bright, because this was a young team last year, and so and then you're bringing in some high talent, highly rated talent, and then also getting Natalie Potts back is huge.
Yeah, I think when you look at the roster this past year, there's certain things that maybe were lacking, whether it's in the front court or another consistent scorer. I don't think you're going to have any part of that those 2 things that I mentioned that are going to lack. When you look at the roster, and we'll see what the transfer portal does for Nebraska, I think that they have the possibility of being a preseason top 25 team. If you're just basing it on roster, right? If you're just trying to play the game on paper, they have a team that on paper, Britt Prince and Maya Hargrove, a year older, getting Natalie Potts back, having this freshman class that you're going to have, getting some others back, transfer portal pieces that probably are going to be all conference players, maybe at lower levels, Division I. It's the team that should be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten and maybe a preseason top 25 team.
And I think to add to that is with the women's tournament, we talked about the numbers and the ratings, and the highest rated first 4 game in the history since they started it and put it on TV. And Nebraska had the highest numbers of any team. And I think they put on display, Britt Prince especially put on a show. And so I think that will probably stand out in people's minds entering next season is how good that team looked, because I think that was probably their best game of the season, that first 4 game, one of for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think that will probably stand out in people's minds going into this season. So they'll probably be towards the top going into the season, that they don't have to constantly work to be in that conversation. They should already be there going into the season.
I think what Nebraska has more than other schools, I could be wrong on this, but you have a lot of players in all sports that grew up as fans, that grew up around this area, that there's pictures of them
Going
at
to
Husker
camps.
camps or wearing Husker shirts or like
In the
going
stands.
to Husker football games.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of a commonplace thing at Nebraska than most places.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's more established powers in women's basketball, right? But getting an Ashlyn Copel, a big reason why, I mean, she's South Dakota. She's kind of in this area, right? She probably grew up Huskers, just a lot of Huskers all the time. So that matters in recruiting too. And I think it matters here than a lot of places. When you're in the Midwest and, you know, you don't have on Saturdays, there's not a lot of that crossover with professional sports, especially in the NBA, and not so much in this area with Major League Baseball, where it's Huskers all the time. You get a lot of that in recruiting. I think that's cool with Britt Prince and some of the others.
So I think we'll start hearing news of that and the additional pieces that Nebraska women's basketball will add. I don't think it'll be as many as what we'll see from the men's team, because that's, I think, where both programs are at. They're going to try to stay old and with the men's basketball side of things, and the women's team will continue to build from the high school recruiting and continue to supplement. But there was a couple articles that came out today, and I was told I didn't want to announce it until it kind of started trickling out, but this team was pretty banged up that went to the Sweet 16, and towards the last last month or so, last 6 weeks of the season, had a lot of guys that were battling some significant injuries, and they were not very deep to begin with. So the fact that this team was able to do what they did, being pretty banged up, was again speaks to the character of these guys. And I think we'll see, much like we're seeing from these women's players, some of these players that have the intentions of coming back. I think we'll see those announcements here rolling out in the next few days.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that were, and part of it too, what's amazing is you still had your rotation intact. Outside of Connor, that was an injury that happened very early on, but you only played 7 max 8-man rotation. So the pressure it put on these guys to be available every single night, to play every single night, was pretty high because the depth wasn't quite there for Nebraska this year, especially in the front court. So Rink Mast is banged up. You know, think of the Michigan game when he didn't play because he was so sick. A lot of these guys were forced to kind of fight through it and play through it. Price being number one on that list of having to fight through some injuries. There's a video clip of him at Iowa, at the game at Iowa, where he was kind of laying down on his back because he's not sure what exactly was hurting him at that time. But a lot of guys played through a lot of different injuries. And when you're having a special dream season, it kind of helps too to fight through some of the nicks and bruises.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of people don't panic if you see Price saying that he's going to pursue the NBA. I think that's a lot of times now that has been passed and approved, that guys that are in this stage that are maybe fringe NBA guys, they can go explore, go through some of those processes, talk to NBA teams, find out where they stand in terms and where they might stack up in the draft, and have some conversations of, hey, what do I need to work on to be able to improve my draft stock? And I think, it would be smart for Price to do that. I think he's definitely an NBA guy. Fred Hoiberg has said that from the start. And look, you can always use the shooter, and Price is one of the best in the game. So I think it would be good for him to do that. But don't panic if he announces that. It very well could just be an exploration type of thing.
Yeah, it's very commonplace for guys that have that ceiling of being NBA players. It's a free evaluation tool. You can come back to college, just test the NBA draft waters. Essentially, you have guys that take notes on you through workouts, say you got to do this better, got to do that better, evaluate your film, and they give you just essentially a free evaluation of what they need from you at the next level. When you enter this full year of college hoops next year here at Nebraska, he's going to know exactly what he has to do and what he has to train for.
Got some questions in the chat about Connor Essegian. That's already been announced. He was speaking at the alumni weekend. I was there, and there's a lot of folks in that room. And when Coach Hoiberg got up to speak, Connor was the current player that spoke to the room. And then when Fred got up to speak to the room, he was bragging on Connor and said we can't wait to get him back next season. So that I think that's been documented, that Connor Essegian will be back next year.
Yeah, and he's been kind of training a little bit to stay in shape, but you wonder what his timeline is in terms of full workouts and getting back in basketball shape. I mean, he's in shape, but is he in basketball shape yet? So that's going to be a long process for him. But good thing is that we haven't even hit the Final Four yet, so you have a long way to get in shape. That's what the summer's for. and he should be ready to go when they tip the thing off in practice.
Pretty interesting today. Some news came out from the NCAA. There's going to be some pretty harsh penalties if programs allow for athletes to go through any kinds of workouts before they even enter the transfer portal, probably trying to eliminate a little bit of the tampering. I don't think it'll ever be eliminated, but at least preventing them from being on campus before they've even entered the portal.
The start date for the transfer portal is just a rumor. It's just, it doesn't necessarily matter.
People have announced their intentions.
Maybe players aren't directly reaching out to teams, but agents are.
Yeah.
Because now you have agents at play. So the agents are doing it for them. So they circumvent the player reaching out, but there's a good idea. A lot of these teams, there's a good idea of who's going to be on our roster next year. What's a good thing is the portal does officially open now once the
Monday and Tuesday. Monday for the women, Tuesday for the men.
Yeah, after the national championship games for both. The women national championship game, that'll be on Sunday. The men will be on Monday. So that's when you'll have a good idea in the weeks to come what next year's roster is going to be like. You know who's coming back for the most part, but there's a few pieces. They have to get a big couple, maybe a couple of guards as well to fill out this roster for next year.
I was talking with a couple of the football staff members again at the bowl game, and it was a tight turnaround to get guys on campus for visits, and they couldn't even contact and set up the flights until the portal was officially open. And I think that it's the same thing. So while there probably are conversations being had, and that's okay, that's allowed in terms of officially kind of lining up those visits, won't be until Monday and Tuesday for these two teams. But I think it'll probably move pretty quickly. And they'll probably, like last year when they were getting guys here on campus, it moved really quickly. They got guys in on visits, and then, maybe they went to a couple places, and then those announcements came in. So it will move quickly, but then it might take a couple weeks for it to be kind of a done deal.
Yeah, and, there's a lot of resources now for men's basketball. We talked about the rev share number going up for men's basketball this year. So there's a lot more room for them to do more things, maybe get more high-priced guys, but that's not necessarily the best option. I think for Fred, you can
It's
go
a
out.
fit. It's got to be a fit.
It's got to be a culture fit. It's got to be a system fit.
Yep.
Fred runs a very specific system that demands you to be sophisticated, detailed, buttoned up. So you got to get the right guys, and Fred will do that. Luca and his staff, Luca being the GM for Nebraska basketball, they've been at this for a while now, evaluating guys. So you can get high-priced guys, but we see Kentucky. They were the highest-priced roster. They were like a 7 seed in the tournament, and they won one game in the tournament, and they were bounced. And they finished middle of the pack in the SEC. You got to get right chemistry and right culture, and that's what they did this year. They hit the jackpot with the guys they had this year.
Great stuff. And again, it's so exciting. I think it continues to amp up the more expectations that a program has this kind of year, or this time of year, finding out which new pieces you're going to add. And I think last year, and again, you weren't here, but there was a little bit of grumblings on maybe not getting a couple of guys that maybe people thought that Nebraska should get. But look how it ended up turning out, and it was the right pieces and the right fit. And so I can't wait to see how they work through it this time around. Again, adding to what you hopefully have coming back and what has been established. It's really exciting when you already have what's in place and what the expectations are now in place and you want to build on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that are here that can build on that culture from last year. You're not losing everybody. You're losing a nice, solid grouping of guys that were a huge part of your success, but getting Price back, getting Braden back, hopefully getting everybody back, hopefully getting Berkay back in the mix, Connor, who's been around this program, Cale Jacobson. You're getting a nice core of guys that understand the standard for guys that come in.
All right, good stuff. Got to get to a break. Coming up next, going to talk some men's gymnastics. Big weekend for the Huskers as they are hosting the Big Ten Championships, and it's one of the sports that Kyle has become an expert on.
Yeah,
here.
I know everything about men's gymnastics.
So the head coach, Chuck Chmelka, will be here to dive into and preview the big weekend coming up here inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with zero down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with zero down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Husker fans, make your plans now to attend one of the most exciting events in Nebraska sports this year when the Big Red play host to the Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena April 3rd and 4th. So that's this Friday and Saturday, 7 p.m. start times for both nights. Get your all-session tickets now through Ticketmaster for just $15. And what a perfect transition, because this weekend we do have the Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And we have the head coach, Chuck Chmelka. It's always good to see you, second time in studio. We've had the chance to chat, finishing up the regular year, but now the postseason comes. And how about this? You know, first of all, it's good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's always good seeing you.
But the significance now of having the Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships right here in Lincoln at PBA, pretty cool.
It's great. This is only the third time we've ever had it. The first year we were ever in the Big Ten, and then the year after COVID, and now. So we're looking very forward to this one. We hope it's going to be a packed house because during COVID, they didn't let people in. We're very happy to be hosting the Big Ten Championships this year.
How about the team's excitement to now move to the postseason? You guys put up a season-high score at Michigan, had a chance to claim a share of the Big Ten regular season title. It looks like the group's performing at a really high level right now and at a good time here for the postseason.
I like where our team is. I feel we're in a good place mentally and physically, as good as we've been all year. Michigan was a really good test for us. They're very good, and it's tough to compete up there. It's noisy, a lot of yellow, loud, and the guys handled it. We were in it till the last event. We made a mistake. That cost us the meet. But we came back home, talked about it, learned from it, changed a couple things, and here we are, ready to go on our home field and just see what kind of hit percentage we can do. If we hit, we're going to be in good shape, I think.
How about the consistency of your lineup? Just kind of looking through some of the notes and things, 5 regular season All-Americans and the high performances that you've had throughout your roster. Just what can you say there about what you've gotten from all the guys this year?
Well, everybody's contributed because we were dinged up pretty early in the season and we had to go with a lot of young guys. They made some mistakes. They've learned from them. Now they're solid. So the team is, I feel, mentally good. We're ready to hit. And that's, in gymnastics, once you get to this stage, the postseason, you've gone through the season, your body knows what to do. You can do the routines easy. Can you do them when there's pressure, like a Big Ten championship on the line? And that's where we've tried to focus this mental on training in the gym, and hopefully it will carry over now to us during the meet Friday night.
Chatting with Chuck Chmelka, head coach for Huskers men's gymnastics, talking with the guys on a meet day, when you have to have that mental component of this is a big moment in the meet, this is make or break time. When you have those conversations right before they perform, what are those like?
Typically, I don't say a whole lot unless I feel something really needs to be said. The guys need to get in their own zone. Everybody's different how they do that. But they all know how to do it at this stage of the game. So we'll talk and line up to start stretch, go through what we need to know time-wise and just be ready to go. But they know what they need to do. Now, what I usually say to them is a joke to lighten the load, or focus on just one key point. Because if you overload them, then their mind's going crazy. And if they can just calm themselves, keep their mind at ease, usually the performance will follow. It'll be really good.
And we talk about the great performances throughout your roster, but Asher Cohen this year is up for one of the biggest awards in men's college gymnastics. He's one of the best performers on rings in the country. When you think of the consistency from a senior like that, living up to expectations, that's a hard thing to do, and he's certainly done that this year.
Asher's amazing. He's our Elite 90 recipient, so he's got 3.99 GPA. He excels at everything he does. He is a very calm, collective, loving kid, and he'll do anything for his teammates and us, and he's just a thrill to have in the gym. We are going to miss him immensely. But we're not done yet with him, so we're going to enjoy what we have. And gymnastically, yes, his ring routine, we just changed it. Actually took something out, made it a little bit easier, which is kind of weird maybe right now to say, but it's so difficult that it was almost too hard for him. And now it looks so simple and so easy. Wait till you see it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's world-class Olympic material, and it's gorgeous.
And again, you have the opportunity to see it this weekend. PBA, Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships hosting here in Lincoln. Get your tickets now, Friday and Saturday. So the way this event works, you have the team competitions on Friday, right? And then the individual events on Saturday, correct?
That's correct. So we're really hoping that we have a great turnout for Friday night for the team. Come and support our team. Help us beat the rest of the Big Ten. Then from there, the top 10 on every event qualify on to Saturday, the individual event finals. And that meet is typically a little quicker, and it's very exciting. It's fun. It's the top athletes on their event, and you will see, well, Fred Richard from Michigan, who's an Olympian already, and you will see some future Olympians coming out of this if you come and watch.
Yeah, and you talked environment at Michigan. Environment matters in gymnastics,
my gosh.
right? So that makes a difference for you guys.
Truthfully, I credit their fans for willing them to win. They had a couple breaks on parallel bars, and we didn't. And then they went to high bar, the last event, and they were noisy, loud, and we made a mistake, and they didn't. And that's how they won. So home field is huge. I look at our basketball team, and we were fortunate enough to go there for a couple games and do a halftime show. And, oh, my gosh, the fans there were great, and they will you to excel, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
We want to excel in front of our own Nebraska people.
Yeah, and they always show up. So Husker fans, make sure you show up this weekend. Friday, 7 o'clock is the start on Friday, and Saturday as well. Just running through some of the storylines. I look at Chase Mondy and his story from injury. I think we talked about it when you were last in here. I can't imagine going through as significant of an injury of what he went through, and then to come back and still do what you do, right? From those heights and the things that you have to do. It's amazing.
He is so tough. I truthfully am surprised myself. For a while there in the early part of the year, we were fairly certain we were going to have to redshirt him. I just didn't think his ankle and his knee could come back. It looked like the letter C. It was bent so bad. It was horrible. And that kid has worked so hard with our trainer, Jacob Lucan, and got himself stronger than ever, solid. It's no play in it. And I was nervous for a lot of the season. I kind of babied him along and like, oh, I don't know if I want you to do this. I don't know this. And he just looked at me finally. He goes, Chuck, I'm fixed. I'm fine. Just let me go. And then I'm thinking, he's right. I got to let him go. And by golly, after that, he's been pushing 14 every meet.
That's just amazing. You think about just how gruesome the injuries were and to go back and to not have a mental blockage where you almost have the mental blockage for him.
I have a bigger one than he did, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he knows, these guys, they know their body so well because they lift it and throw it around every day for 4 hours, and you just learn all about you. It's an amazing sport. It really is.
Chatting with Chuck Chmelka, who is the Husker men's gymnastics head coach. They'll have Big Ten championships here at PBA Lincoln Friday night and Saturday night. Make sure you get tickets. Some of your youngsters, Sam Rakita, too, he's gotten some honors from the conference. But when you look at, it was a big freshman class this year,
yes,
right? So
our largest ever.
Future's bright for you guys, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it is. And we have 5 incoming guys who are going to fit in very nicely to the crew that we have already coming back. So we just got to keep rolling here and keep working hard, and we'll be in pretty good shape, I feel.
What's the event that you want to see maybe most improvement here this weekend that when you talk to the guys, hey, we need to improve here the most? What does that look like?
Without a doubt. Rings has been our kind of Achilles heel, if anything. And then we have Asher, of course, there to finish the lineup out. But the other 3 guys we really have to perform. And they're training good. This last 2 weeks has been great, but it's been kind of a mess. We've been all over the place with rings. So that's where once we get through ring lineup and we hit 4 for 4, I'll breathe a little easier there, It'll be like, all right, away we go, because then we go to vault. We're a steady vault team, and then we finish with parallel bars and high bar. So it's the same order we've done all year. I feel good where we're at with that.
What does the training regiment look like for the guys this year? Is or I should say at this point of the year, is it a lighter regiment this time when you're late in the year?
Yes, we're winding down. Right after the Michigan meet, we had a couple light days, and then we hit it very hard, harder than we hit all season, because they're ready now. They're physically ready, mentally they're ready. And we did that for 4 days last week, and now we're backing down heavily. Today we'll have, it's not a light day anymore, but we'll do some routines, not a lot of routines though. Tomorrow we probably won't do any routines. We'll get to be at Pinnacle though, and get on the floor and get on all the apparatus and just, see what it looks like there. I mean, because we have never seen, none of these kids have seen Pinnacle Bank with gymnastics equipment in it before. So we'll be able to do that tomorrow, and then we go on Friday. So
for a fan that's on the fence that has not followed gymnastics, why should they go on Friday night? For you, what's the draw for them to come, buy tickets, and be a part of something that I know is going to be spectacular, you know is going to be spectacular?
Yeah. If you would come and watch, you'll be hooked. I promise you. It's almost a circus, and you will not believe what these kids are doing. And they'll be flying around, landing on their feet, landing on their hands, re-grabbing a bar, and you'll just go, how many twists and flips was that? And that's the challenge of it all. While you're kind of a rookie, maybe spectator, you learn, oh my gosh, that was one backflip with 3 twists? Then you try to just jump and do a half twist. It's like, how do they do it? And it's going to be the top level gymnastics in the U.S. All of the Big Ten teams are ranked in the top 7 of the NCAA. Anybody could win it, and you're going to see Olympians. It's just going to be an amazing show.
Yeah, you're going to see the guys that are going to be the feature stories on NBC.
Yes.
When you're watching the Olympics.
Absolutely.
So go again, buy tickets. You can get tickets through Ticketmaster now for just $15. That's this Friday, 7 o'clock. That's the team events. And then the individual event finals will be Saturday at 7 o'clock as well. Pinnacle Bank Arena. Lincoln is hosting the Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships. So this is an exciting time for the program, exciting time for Lincoln, exciting time for the sport. So make sure that you go and get tickets. Head coach Chuck Chmelka joining us in studio. We can't thank you enough for coming in. I know for you guys, you're hungry here for the postseason.
Yes.
And for this event, I know you've been looking forward to it for a while. So thanks for hopping in.
We sure are. It'll be 5 more years before we get to host it again. So Husker Nation, come out. Let's go.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll enjoy yourselves, and go Big Red.
Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thank you so
Again,
much.
like you said, environment matters, so show up, be loud, and help the guys out. Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena starting on Friday night and Saturday night as well, so make a weekend out of it. Great stuff from head coach Chuck Chmelka. We continue with the show right after this.
Every machine has a story. Early mornings, long harvests, years of hard work. When the time comes to sell, AuctionTime.com helps make sure the world sees that equipment. Whether you're selling one piece of equipment or planning a retirement auction, start by knowing what it's worth. At Auction Time, we'll help you start with a free equipment valuation and plan the best way to sell. Call 402-458-4570. That's 402-458-4570. AuctionTime.com. Local expertise, worldwide buyers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Couple segments left for us. Great stuff. You have become quite the men's gymnastics expert.
I know everything.
Did you ever think you would be this competent in men's gymnastics?
I don't think I still am competent in men's gymnastics. I think Coach is just helping me along, and he's just thankful to have the time to promote the event.
That's what I found. Like, since I started, when I came here, even like with volleyball, and I started doing the dig, I think they are okay with asking quote unquote dumb questions, because I think they appreciate, especially with volleyball, because once the team started really getting, they started to really blow up after the stadium match, and you have all different levels of knowledge of fans, and so you're kind of educating different levels, of understanding of the game, and so you have some folks that are just becoming new, and I think that's where Nebraska has been so great. They have been trendsetters in this sport, and they understand that they are welcoming in and encouraging new people to fall in love with this game, and so they've always been okay with it. Being open to all the different levels and not being snobs to the people that obviously are experts on the sport, because we got a lot of fans here that are very much experts on the sport. Yeah, outside of, the footballs and the basketballs and the baseballs, you have to, as an Olympic sport coach, you have to be a little bit of a salesman to your game. See with Peter Cobelt when he comes in here and talks tennis, and we talk about he's kind of like he's out there always hustling and getting people to learn about his team and learn about the sport. And Coach was the same way when we went off the air. He said, whenever I could come on, just text me and I'm here, because I understand the impact that, somebody who doesn't follow men's gymnastics but listens to Sports Nightly, and all of a sudden he always says you just need one. You need to go to one meet to get hooked. So if it's Pinnacle Bank Arena and the setting of that, and you got the best of the best in the conference, and you have that environment, and that's all. He says it's like a circus. It's like you're watching a circus. There's always something to look at. It is, it is overload, sensory overload on a men's gymnastics. It's the most athletic thing that any human being can do. Men's and women's gymnastics. Liz Sowers, the new women's flag football coach, said the same thing. Don't confuse the flag football, the exact kind of game, as football, right? And so she's, hey, I'll come on anytime, has told our social media team, I'd love to, start doing educational videos on what to expect, what to watch for, even, hey, some drills. These are some drills that we do. And so I think that's pretty cool too. As you continue to grow the game, you got to be open to that and welcome in new fans that might not completely have an understanding of what you do. And the thing is, if Husker fans get on board with something, like they're on board. So he knows that. Coach knows that. All these coaches know that. Yeah, and they love winners, right? And I did an interview today about that, and what makes this place, why I am so invested in it, why I love it so much. And a big part of it is that. And I've said that multiple times on this program, but very few places can you go. I don't even know if there is a place other than this that fans are invested in so many different programs.
Well, you see it, and, just going back to basketball with the Oklahoma City deal, we were talking about the decibel levels there and how Husker fans made a 6-hour drive feel like it's only an hour down the street, and everyone's complaining that it's a Husker home game. Well, it's still a 6-hour drive, and it still takes a lot of time out of your life to be able to go to a game like that. So the commitment here is next level. There's a reason why volleyball is the marquee of Wrigley Field on September 6th. It's because there's going to be a lot of 40,000+ red shirts and jerseys in that building, because they're going to be the force behind selling that thing out.
Absolutely. All right. So again, get on out to PBA this weekend. It should be quite the show. And when we're talking about teams that are going to be competing for national titles, men's gymnastics is consistently a team that's in the top 5 finishers every single year. You can always count on them to be right there among some of the top finishers at the NCAA championships. Big Ten's obviously first this weekend, but bowling, they're probably going to qualify this weekend. They've got their kind of first round to qualify for the NCAA championships. That's next weekend. That's a program every single year that you kind of pencil in to be a favorite for a national title team. So there's a lot of those programs. And, like we talked about last night, it's a great time to be a Husker fan because there's a lot of exciting things happening with a lot of different programs.
Yeah, I'm following up on men's gymnastics. So they lost to Michigan in their final meet of the year. They lost but had their season high score. And if they had won that meet, they would have tied for the Big Ten regular season championship. So they were this close to a championship for them. And Michigan's really darn good. And they have one really elite performer, but they were pretty close to at least getting a share of the Big Ten regular season championship. And now they have a chance to kind of avenge that here this weekend. And bowling, track and field, which is consistently a winner with the amount of athletes, just individual talent, future Olympians that are on campus.
Great stuff. All right, gotta get to a break. We're back to wrap up the show next.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Wednesday night edition with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. So if you remember one of the first things we learned about Kyle, he hates ketchup.
Despise it, actually.
And I kind of forgot. We were talking during the break about dinner plans. And he's going to have eggs, and I totally forgot to ask him if he's going to put ketchup on his eggs. And you should have seen the face that he gave
You were
me.
Asking some crazy questions. Are you going to put mayo on it? I said, what planet are you living
I think I was just kind of trying to find anything, but
No.
ketchup is not crazy on your eggs. I know a lot of people put ketchup on your eggs.
No, ketchup's a real thing. And ketchup.
Tabasco, though, you don't do Tabasco sauce either?
No. Some sort of cheese.
Okay.
Some sort of cheese. Right, this is riveting radio, by the way. Some sort of rice. You gotta You got to keep it together.
Rice on eggs?
Well, rice in the side. You maybe put it in a wrap, you know?
Oh, boy.
Put it all together like it's some sort of breakfast burrito. There you go.
Sam in Omaha chimes in. Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on his eggs.
I ain't Patrick Mahomes in a lot of different
Clearly.
ways. Okay,
And you're trying to
That's not
become a
nice.
defensive lineman, and you...
That's what I'm saying.
You need to put ketchup on your eggs.
Give me a mullet, and then put me in Corey Brown's position room. And I'm telling you.
I think you need to talk to Kristen Coggins, too, at the training table.
Let me ask this thing.
I got 2 in. You didn't get any in today.
How many plays would I last in a Division I Big Ten football game?
I don't think you'd make it through one.
Without my body exploding.
I don't know if you'd make it through one. I think you'd get blown up before the play even ended.
I think that's possible. Over under 2.5 plays. I'll ask Damon this. I got to ask Damon this. How many?
Ask Searles.
If Damon got 25 carries in a Big Ten football game, how many yards is he going for today?
Today? Which line? What's the line?
It's current offensive Husker line, which is pretty darn good, pretty big.
I don't know if he gets maybe 2 or 3 yards of carry.
You think he can get...
What's 2 or 3 times 25?
Now, 25.
56?
We're asking a lot out of DB to give him 25 carries. If
56?
he has 3 carries, is he coming out net even? Or is it negative? Negative yardage on 3 carries. You know, 2 yards. Can he get you 2 yards in a cloud of dust? As we like to say in the Midwest.
I don't know.
Maybe if DB's listening, or somebody can tweet at DB, because
he also said that, I think, what did he say he could run? He asked me one time I came on the show and they were talking about he could run 36 miles per hour.
What? What is he, a cheetah? What? He could run 36 miles an hour. My car doesn't even go 36 miles an hour. It needs an oil change.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the number he said he could run.
36 miles an hour. A robotic cheetah is not running 36 miles an hour.
If he can run 36 miles per hour, I think he hits the over 2 yards
I think if he's hitting 8, we're good. I mean, like, I don't know what my top speed would be, but I would believe in DB that he's coming out net positive in terms of yards. If you give Damon Benning, 2-time national champ, Orange Bowl MVP. What's the fastest?
It was in the 30s.
Is the fastest
it was in the 30s.
Usain Bolt is 27.7. So whoever said he can run 35 miles per hour.
He did.
He talks, man. I would love to see it. DB, that's what the fourth quarter of the spring game should have been. Just the Husker Radio Network trying to run off right tackle and see how many yards we can get.
I think Searles might have won that one.
Searles, so I know we've got final minute here. I'm looking through my binoculars.
Oh, he's doing offensive line drills.
And I saw, if you're watching on YouTube, just going like this, doing his offensive pass protection
He
drills
does that.
on
If you
the
go
field.
to practice with him, he starts doing it. Yeah, he starts doing his offensive line drills, his
Get
pass
that
pro.
guy a whistle 24/7.
His pass pro. Speaking of Searles, he's going to be on the show tomorrow. Had a chance to sit down with him, break down all things spring game. He's part of our broadcast on Saturday. So he's got a fascinating take on the offensive line. It was riveting radio listening to him and DB go back and forth on
Football guys.
Saturday. Yeah, football heads. So we got a chance to dive into some of that. And then we're also going to talk some women's tennis with the highest recruit ever in program history. Katie Spencer is a freshman, and they are on a heater. They've won 5 in a row going into a huge weekend. Got number 3 Ohio State, so we're going to dive into that. So big 2 hours coming up tomorrow. Thanks to Camden and Christopher for making this thing go. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven.
It's the final days of Ford Truck Month. The stampede of savings is running, but it's about to run out. So hurry into your Midwest Ford dealers today. During the final days of Truck Month, get $7,250 cash or 0% for 60 with 0 down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash